Since the global financial crisis, we've seen major central banks cut interest rates very aggressively and print extraordinary amounts of money, pumping it into the economy by buying up bonds. This was done to support the economy in the wake of one of the worst financial crises in history. A major side effect has been the reduction in yield or income available to investors in global bonds. Fortunately for bond investors, low levels of inflation since the crisis has meant that investors are still generally earning income in excess of inflation, which means they're still growing their wealth with their global bond investments. While bond investors have seen interest income drop by around 2 to 3% per year since the crisis, equity investors have actually seen the income they earn from dividends increase by about 0.5% a year. Companies are experiencing high profitability relative to history, and they're also giving a much larger proportion of the cash back to investors in the form of dividends and share buybacks, relative to the amount they're investing in for future growth. While equity investors generally only get about 20% of their returns from dividends, that dividend income is now roughly equivalent to the interest income that bond investors get. And bond investors get almost 100% of their returns from income. So certainly from an income perspective, global bond investments aren't looking as appealing since the crisis. What hasn't changed since the crisis is the riskiness of bonds relative to equities. Global equities are likely to experience losses that are 2 to 3 times greater in magnitude than the losses that global bonds typically experience. Correlations between equity and bond returns have also remained strongly negative since the crisis, meaning that when equities go down, bonds are very likely to go up. So for investors concerned about capital preservation, adding bonds to an equity portfolio is still a very effective way to mitigate the risk of meaningful capital losses. If you have any questions on any of this, please contact either myself or your Anchor representative.